Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Riri, Relentlessly Riri. I'm creating this space for anyone who is looking to elevate themselves, reach a higher vibration, get healthier inside and out, mentally stronger, and I'm going to be basically also working on myself, and you're helping me as much as I might be helping you, hopefully. I don't particularly enjoy cooking. I think my generation has gotten further and further away from actually making meals. There's a lot of quick, ready meals being sold for you to bring to work, for you to feed your kids, for you to, quickly create with your family. That I think it's important to actually show up for yourself and to put something together with your own, energy, show up and cook. You don't have to be good at it, but I think everything is so fast paced that we forget to focus on ourselves. We forget to focus on those that we love. We forget to just take a moment and be in the moment of something, and I think cooking really puts you in the moment, because it's not something that you can just throw in the microwave or pick up at the drive-thru or whatever. It takes effort, and I think when you cook and when you put in the effort, it reminds you to put effort into other things in your life. This is going to be slightly a longer video because it's my first one, and I'm sure some of you already stopped watching, but if you're still here, I appreciate it. Trust me, I appreciate it more than anything. For myself, I am in the midst of going through a separation, and I have children, and so it's very, very difficult for me right now. If it looks like I've been crying, it's because I have been. And I think that there's a lot of women out there and men who are going through the same thing that I'm going through. And right now, if I wouldn't be making this video, I would not want to cook anything, because I don't want to cook. I don't want to eat. I just want to cry. But I'm going to show up for anyone else out there who is also looking to try to show up for themselves and show up for the people that they love. As moms, we have to show up no matter what. No matter what we might be going through, kids need to be fed. We have to be fed and nourished, because when you're in a bad place mentally, when you're going through things in your love life or your finances or anything like that, it's so easy to forget to show up for yourself, to forget to cook for yourself and for those around you, to forget to, eat veggies and vitamins instead of just going right through the drive-through and doing what's easy, because it doesn't take effort and you just want to come home and go to sleep, watch a movie and just drown away or your sorrows, basically. And it's so important that we don't do that, even when we're going through something. And I know it's twice as hard, but it's very, very important, because when we show up for ourselves when times are hard, it puts us in a vibration where we keep attracting healthier and happier things and events and people and energies, so that we can keep getting and climbing the steps and keep getting better and better, instead of succumbing to our fears, succumbing to our anxieties, succumbing to our stressors in our life, and eventually falling on our butt, either to addiction. Or addiction doesn't have to be alcoholism and drugs. It could be you needing some sort of outside source to make yourself feel better, to get through the day, to not being able to sit down with yourself, arrange your problems that you have come about, and put them all where they go, and be able to heal yourself because we're all given not only a body, but also a soul and a mind. And when we're not using either or properly and they're not aligned, it's very difficult to get through anything. You know, it's much easier to, I have a bottle of Jameson up there, you know. Sometimes you need a drink. But if you have drinks only specifically when you're upset, it's much easier to fall under addiction or under alcoholism, even when you don't have a family history of it or you have no intention of falling in that pattern. Your brain is looking for a way out. It's looking for it's going to be okay moment. And unless you show up for yourself and physically and mentally put in the work to get yourself out of that, sometimes better even before you're in it, then it all goes to not good places. So, as I'm going to be going through financial struggles because of what I'm going through, that's another part of the reason why I'm making this channel. So if you guys want to subscribe and share, and I don't know, maybe know of other people who would benefit from watching me talk, I would appreciate it. And the other aspect of it is, like, how do we, because previously I spent so much money on groceries, just feeding, you know, basically a small family of 4. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to pay for groceries, so I have to find ways to, like, find ingredients that are good for the body and find ways of, you know, extending that food, because I know a lot of people go to Costco and get giant bags of things, and it might be cheaper, but you're still not really cooking. You're not really putting healthy things into your body when you got, you know, a ton of chicken wings and just basically already prepared food. You just bought it in bulk, and so it's cheaper. I think adding like grains and maybe making different types of pastas and adding vegetables, because like I got vegetables, I don't know how long it's gonna last me, to be honest. This is something I have to learn to do, and maybe if you stick around you learn to do it with me. But I got a bunch of veggies and it was like $18, which is okay, you know. But as soon as you get into boxes and bags and you know, expensive meats, it's really expensive. It gets very expensive very fast. So I'm gonna be trying to be saving stuff, you know, saving money. So normally, and I know that there's like, first of all, I don't like the term single mom. We're moms. We just happen to be single. And it doesn't really matter what the relationship status is. You're just a mom, and you're doing your best to be a mom. And whatever that comes with, because it's almost looked as like showing strength or showing that you have less than others, and I don't think we do, but it's, I just don't want to be called that. I'm just a mom. So anyway, I have this big pot here, and I like cooking with butter. Like, this video is like an hour later, I'm starting to cook, so good job, Maria. Way to go. But whatever, if you made it this far, we'll make some chicken. Anyway, I use butter. You don't have to. I like cooking in animal fats. I would not recommend cooking anything in olive oil. It's not good for you when it's heated past a certain temperature, and it starts to not taste or smell good. So if you are going to be cooking with oil instead of butter, which I know many of you will, I buy sunflower oil. It's organic. I don't know how long I'll be able to buy organic. I prefer it, but probably that's not going to be able. It's probably not going to be possible, and probably for a lot of you, it's not possible. But I do like to buy organic chicken because, again, I don't know if I'll be able to keep doing this, but if I can, the legs, like this is $4.61 and $4.28, so this is like, you know, a little over $9, and there's 10 legs, so I don't think that's so bad. I know there's cheaper chicken out there, but like normally I get, like if you get breasts, it's like $14 that's organic, or even thighs. I know there's more of them, but they're still pretty expensive. So I don't know. I personally like drumsticks. I don't think it's unhealthy. I think it's important that you balance your diet. Like you can't only eat that and you know, and sugary things and pastas. That's why I brought out the veggies. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And I'm pretty sure that most of you have made chicken legs before. However, I'm sure there's some people that just need, you know, new ideas. Maybe they haven't done it in this way, and you could learn something. So the butter's melted, and you want to get the pan and the butter or oil hot enough so that the chicken doesn't stick. I put it on like a medium high, and then I start to turn it down a little bit when we get to that point. You want to make sure that it's not too crowded in your pan, because when it gets too crowded, things start to not really brown or crisp. Okay. I really appreciate you watching, because I definitely would not be doing this. I would be in the Shake Shack drive-thru if you weren't watching. So this is, it's really a reminder that all of us, you know, and I know I see so many channels, and I see so many like Instagram people that, you know, do so much for show, and I can promise you that I don't do things for show. Like, I can honestly tell you that I am very much going through it right now, and I just want to sit on the floor and cry, and that's what I've been doing most of the day, for multiple days. And I know that there's men and women out there who are in the same boat. And that's kind of what inspired me to make this video. So I put salt on it to taste. Some of you like things more salty. I put black pepper as well. I'll be adding pimenton, which is paprika. This is like a Spanish one. I know there's Hungarian also. So it really depends on what you like. It's like a smoky, peppery. You don't want to add it all the way in the beginning to where, at the point where you're browning, because it does burn and you don't want to do that. So I'm going to let the chicken like brown for a little while, and we're going to start dealing with our veggies here. I have very simple parsley, carrots, and a bit of onion. So I'm going to start with the onion. I really like onion. Again, I'm trying to save. So if you're doing well financially, be my guest and use a whole onion. I'm just trying to use up this one because I had it in the fridge. But generally, I would use like a small whole onion. If you don't like onion, maybe you'd like a little bit of leek. It's really up to you. It's pretty versatile. I like onion when it browns and caramelizes. I think it's delicious. You definitely don't want, like that's the other thing about not overcrowding the pan, because if you overcrowd the pan and then you throw the onion in, it's just going to get like steamed. It's going to stay white and kind of like yucky. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm not a professional chef, obviously. I'm very lacking in knife skills, but I'll do my best for you. That's all you can do, really. Just do your best, you know? What are you going to do? I want to kind of move them around a little bit. I do not like getting hit by hot oil. Alright, so we're going to put that off to the side. Then we're going to go off into the carrot. By cutting off the nubs a little bit. How you cut it, it's up to you. Just have to make sure that you're cooking accordingly. If you dice it up really small, it's probably going to cook faster. If you like big chunks, be my guest. Just pull one out and try it. Make sure that it's the texture that you like. Some people like their carrots a little snappy, others don't. Look at these. They're like little suns. Alright. So I'm just gently flipping these over. Depending on the day, sometimes, you'll get them nice and brown. Other times, the skin comes off. It's okay. Again, the main thing is to show up and cook something. That's really it. It's not going to be perfect every time. You're not going to be Julia Child overnight. I'm definitely not. Trust me. I've been told. But I think it's better for you and the people who are in your life. When you sit down and are able to have a cooked meal together. Instead of driving in the car and pulling over and having something quick and easy. And basically like blowing through it, talking about things that don't matter. Like sit down, cook a meal. If you have helpers, it's nice. For me, I'm a control freak. It's very difficult for me to allow help. But it's something that I have to work on. And try to enjoy some conversation while you cook and while you eat. Because those are the conversations that people are going to remember, whether it's your kids or a spouse or a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, or your mom, it doesn't matter. it allows you to be in the moment, and that's what's important. So at this point, I flipped all of the chicken legs over, and I'm going to be adding the onions and the carrots on. And I like when the onion starts to kind of brown. Some of it will get stuck to the chicken skin, and that's okay. It browns beautifully. Very tasty. I know meal prepping is a big thing right now. I'm not really always a fan because I don't like having like week-old food in the fridge. You know, but I do think it's good to cook for a few days and kind of be creative with leftovers sometimes. Like if you're making chicken thighs or whatever, you could eat it, you know, with rice or something one day and then make tacos the next day. And then maybe put together a pasta, but like use the same protein for a couple of days and then cook something new. Like I really like cooking pork shoulder, and it takes, I don't know, like 3 hours to cook. But then basically it's like pulled pork. So I put it on a morning sandwich, I put it in a quesadilla, I put it in tacos, I put it in pasta, like sometimes I just eat it, you know, with veggies and cut it up, and it's not too expensive. I think like a big chunk is maybe like $8. So I really love pork shoulder for that reason, because I like the beef stews, like the chucks also, but they're more expensive. It's like $18, $20 for a big piece of meat like that. So yeah. It's up to you. I mean, meal prepping also, like if you have a meal prepping day with your significant other or your family and you guys bond and it's a great day for you and then you enjoy eating the food that you created for, you know, days ahead, I think it's beautiful. And I think it's also better than, you know, getting something frozen or fast food or ready to eat food from the supermarket. So you just have to find what's right for you. We could add our pimenton paprika in. And also, I just want to let you know that I'm making all this in real time. Like, I'm not stopping and pausing or, you know, like I'm not doing anything for show, basically. This is who I am. I don't have anything fake about me. I'm not a supermodel. I don't make amazing food. I don't have someone making the food, and I'm not pausing and taking pictures and, you know, doing whatever to make it perfect for you. Like, it is how it is. And I think that there's not enough of that on the internet. So I don't know how much it really, like, you have to try it first. If you don't like the taste of it, then don't add any. You know, pick a spice or an herb or whatever that you like. I do like it, so I just take like a fork. Don't make the mistake of like opening it and then kind of like dusting, because I've had so many instances where it all just falls and then I ruin my dish. So don't do that. Either take a little spoon, maybe like a quarter teaspoon. I just like using my fork, clean fork, and just going in a couple times. Again, everything is to taste. So if you don't like the taste of something, please pick something else, you know. Everything I make, because half the times when I make it, I don't have everything I need, so then I end up changing what I'm making. And I know it drives some people nuts, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So at this point, it's like the onions are starting to get brown. The chicken is pretty brown on one side, not all the way brown on the other. It's okay if you do it, if you flip it a couple times to get, some of them don't get the same color on both sides evenly because of, hot spots or what kind of burner you're working with, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up, please, when something, especially, I know how hard we are on ourselves when things like are already difficult. Like right now, different people are on different emotional levels, and if you're a very sensitive person and you're going through a hard time, like I'm going through a hard time and I'm a sensitive, anxious person. But like I kind of have patience and I try to be relentless and resilient. And I try to allow myself to feel my emotions and not completely lose it, However, I know that there's some people that when they're going through a hard time and then something isn't working out right away, they just get so much further down in the dumps that they just want to give up on everything. Like if you're like doing this with me and you're having a horrible time in your life and this chicken is sticking, or the onions are sticking, or it's not turning out how you think it's turning out for me. Please don't like break down and, throw it in the garbage, and just storm out and still go get a burger or whatever. Just allow yourself time. Allow yourself time to get better at things that maybe you're not used to doing, If you're starting an exercise regimen, don't go from 0 to 100, Try to give yourself 5-10 minutes of exercise every day. Show up for yourself. Set a timer. I know it's not a lot. You're not going to feel it in your muscles. You're not going to notice the difference right away. But the difference is going to be in here because you're making changes in your daily patterns. And eventually, your 5-10 minutes is going to turn into 20. It's going to turn into a half hour. It's going to turn into daily exercise that will elevate you again and set you up for a better life. So don't give up, because right now this is not like as amazing as you think it is, probably. But it's cooked, and it's gonna feed people and it's gonna nourish them, and it's not. I'm making it myself and I'm controlling what goes in it. I'm not shoving a ton of salt and sugar and things to make it taste how I think I'm going to market and sell it, which is what a lot of, companies do to make you buy the food, especially if it is prepackaged or frozen or fast food. Like there's a lot of things in there that makes it taste a specific way so that you keep coming back. And that's not bad. Like some of it they do a good job, but still I prefer controlling what goes in my food. I'm not saying anything bad about fast food. I've been to Shake Shack twice this week, so please, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to Shake Shack. It's a great option. I'm just saying, try to just not make it a habit, especially when you're going through a hard time. And I'm trying to make the food last. So, the chicken legs still have a little while to go. If you see that things are starting to really like caramelize and stick, you could add a teensy bit of water. And that will loosen up everything that's kind of stuck. You don't want to add too much because then it will be like soupy. because this will, again, the water is going to cook off, but it's going to lift anything that's like stuck and keep it from burning and from tasting like something's been burnt. It will more so like caramelize. Okay. Now I'm going to add my parsley. If you don't like parsley as an herb cooked, then you could add it all the way at the end and keep it fresh. It's up to you. I don't mind it both ways. The chicken still has a little while to go, so I don't mind it cooked. Some people do. Also, just a note about herbs, when I use parsley or cilantro, I always use the stalk. I know some people like cut the stalks off. I do a little bit, like if it was the part that was in the ground, or if it's like kind of soily or dirty or whatever. I cut that off, but the majority of it I cut and I put in because it's crunchy, so the texture is different, not just the leaf part, but it's also very, very concentrated in the taste. And by the way, I gotta tell you, like, before I was making this video, I was crying. I don't mean to keep saying it. It's just something that I'm going through. And as I'm talking, as I'm cooking, I feel better. And that's why it's important for me to make these videos. And I think if you're going through something similar, it's important for you too. Okay, so I have some garlic as well. 1, 2. I cut off 2 of the end pieces, the nubs. You could just push like that or cut it. And then all the shell part of it comes off. Or you could dice it if you don't feel like this is something that would be safe for you to do. Always be safe in your kitchen. Don't do things that you're not comfortable in doing. Or ask for help if you have somebody. I'm not dicing it too small, I'm just slicing it a little bit. Okay. Add a little bit more water. The garlic smells delicious. If you're adding water, you might also need to adjust the salt. So I'm going to add a little bit more salt around. The paprika gives it a beautiful color. Show it to you. Ta-da! Sorry for the steam. So it is going to cook until the chicken's done. I'm putting it on medium heat. You want to keep checking it to make sure that you want the water to eventually completely cook off and kind of glaze the chicken. You don't want like a soupy chicken. If you're working with chicken thighs, like anything skinless, then it really doesn't matter. But if you have the skin on, you don't want it like goopy. You want it to kind of crisp up a little bit more once all the, you know, the spices and the onion kind of lift. You can cover it as well, and that way the chicken will cook more evenly. And I think that's our session for the day. I hope that you're in a better place than you were when you started this video, and I know that I am. And so I thank you, and I wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer. Thanks. Bye-bye.